Welcome to the Real Estate Investing Podcast, where we help you unlock your potential freedom through land investing, real estate investing, and entrepreneurship. Hey everyone, this is episode 122 of the Real Estate Investing Podcast, discussing how to make $100,000 a month through land flipping. I'm your host, Daniel Apke, joined again by my brother and business partner, Ron Apke. Before we get into the show, let's go over a question from one of our featured Discord members. Today's question is from Jacob in our Discord community. Jacob asked, when trying to select a county, we are looking for lower population density compared to the more dense county near it. Does the actual numerical density matter? Say there are two counties next to each other. One's a dense county and one's 30 people a square mile and one's 5 people a square mile. Would one of these be more appealing to male? So I think what he's asking, Ron, is he has two counties next to each other. One's 30, population density of 30, and one's a population density of 5. How do we look at that, Ron?
Yeah, I mean, I don't care that much about the population density when they're right by each other like that. And both of them are extremely low population densities. So, I mean, I'm going to look more so at the sold data. I want to see what's selling, how fast things are selling, how fast land is selling in particular. So I'm going to go into Zillow. I'm going to look at recent 5-acre comps. I'm going to see how long they took to sell. That is a huge sign for me of a good market to be in when things are selling in 2-3 weeks, whatever it is. And if the county next door things are selling in 3 months, that's going to be a little slower. And both of these counties could be amazing, Jacob, but you need to adjust your pricing based on how fast things are selling. And I was talking to our data analyst yesterday and just explaining, because he's learning the pricing aspect. I'm just explaining, if we can flip our money in a week, we can take a much lower margin than if we can flip our money in 3-4 months. So we need to price according to what the county data and the days on market is telling us.
Exactly, Ron. And if we have a $50,000 property, say in one county that will sell for $100,000 in 5 months versus another county in, that same $50,000 property will sell for $80,000 in 1 month. Which one do you want? Do you want your money out for 4 extra months, or do you want there's so many different ways to go about pricing and everything. It just depends the heat, and you got to look at the things more on a macro level and compare them. Don't look at one individual stat or one individual. You got to look at how land's actually moving in that, what the population density is, and all the other attributes within, I think, Ron, instead of focusing on one specific area.
I agree.
Other than that, Ron, let's get into the show. Today's topic, how to make $100,000 through land flipping. I know that sounds crazy, Ron. We wanted this topic because a lot of our members are starting to make $100,000 through land flipping. We've done it. Our members have done it. So we want to share what we're seeing in these other members, what we've done to get to that point, and what we're seeing in other members to get there, Ron. This is a interesting topic. I know we're probably going to get some hate thinking it's people saying it can't happen. It can't happen. Well, join our Discord. You'll see it is happening. We've done it. Lots of others are doing it. And we're going to talk about that today.
Yeah, and you said 100,000 twice, Daniel, without saying per month. We're talking about $100,000 per month, which is whatever 1.1 to 1.4, whatever it is. 1.2 is obviously if you make $100,000 every month. But are we starting with, what the capital is needed to get started? I want to kind of start baby steps, like getting started in land investing, because you're not going to make $100,000 your first month, 999 out of 1,000 times. There is a chance you can make $100,000 your first month, but that would be running into one massive deal. So, I mean, getting started, Daniel, the capital needed in land investing, it's so much less than most businesses. You're starting a restaurant, you're starting a storefront, you're starting e-commerce, even those type of things, you're going to be investing a lot more upfront. Land investing, we typically suggest $3,000 to $5,000 for marketing to start. And that is getting mail out. That's getting some deals. That's giving you a couple months of capital to get started, to get enough mail out for about 10,000 mailers or so, Dan. So I think that's the starting point. I know you've said 4 to 6 or maybe 5 to 7,000 before. What's kind of your thoughts on that?
Yeah, and you can go about this different ways. There are people, Ron, who send out one mailer and try to wait for a result. We do not recommend that at all because it's risky and there's a chance you don't get anything and you got to wait another 2 months and you're never going to have deal flow. You're just going to be waiting for that deal to come in and trying to vet that deal, and it just slows down the process. I think I usually say $3,000 to $7,000 on average, Ron, to get started, but depending on your style, it obviously is variable. Like anything, though, the more money you're going to put into marketing over time, the more consistent you are, the more return on investment you're going to get, Ron.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And we've had people start, obviously, we've had people start with more money up front and be more aggressive. Then we've also had people become successful and start with $2,000, $1,500, and they just figured things out. Maybe they did things a different strategy, but they figured things out and they made it work. So we've had people on both ends of the spectrum. This is just a general thing if you're getting started in the land investing. But after that, Daniel, I know we're talking about like what you need to get started. So what kind of to expect over the first 3 months? I know we have, I guess, the 28-day New Year kickoff that we are just opening now, that where you can get your first deal in that first 28 days. You can get your land flipping business off the ground. You want to talk a little bit about that and kind of the expectation for those first 3 months?
Yeah, because that's exactly what we lay out in the 28-day New Year kickoff run is what to expect. So we lay out a blueprint for the first 28 days, getting you on track to have your land flipping business jumpstart, Ron. Like it's going to get you a fully operating business. And I think the main thing we preach over and over again in the program, Ron, is consistency. Obviously, there's going to be a huge learning curve, but you don't need to attack that learning curve in one day. Put a little bit forward every single day, Ron. An hour, we say 1 to 2 hours a day. Like you do that over a few months, Ron, you'll be in a whole nother spot. So I think the biggest thing you have to expect is a massive learning curve. As always, starting any business, any entrepreneurship, that's the fun though. You get to figure that out and start learning. Like that's the fun part of business, I think. So I think the biggest learning curve is that pricing the mail is another huge battle they're gonna have to overcome, Ron. Which you do a great job in the program teaching. I was watching that the other day actually with one of our members, but you do a really good job teaching that. There's advanced modules in that as well. But I think, Ron, just the biggest thing of what to expect, Ron, is don't expect instant results. Stay consistent, and you're going to have hard times. Like you're going to struggle. You're going to have learning curves. You're not going to know what you're looking at. It's going to take time and consistency. That's the biggest thing I see, Ron.
Yeah, and I think like people always ask us like, what's your success rate? What's your success rate? And the people that invest and fully dive into it and be consistent and do it how we teach and do this over 3, 5, 6 months are making it 100% of the time. I don't want to say it's 100% success rate, but from what I've seen, like the people who really do what we preach and stay consistent and send mail every 2 weeks, and attend our webinars and continue their education. I haven't seen people like that not make it, Daniel. I think we have quite a few people that are perfect examples of that, but there will be struggles, like you said, those first few months. Like, is it if you're just starting in land investing from whatever job it is outside of land? This is completely new. Like it's a ton of education that's needed to have a profitable business, but it's also very doable in the first few months. But if you stay committed, like I don't see people failing. Maybe I'm too optimistic, but that's just kind of what I've observed.
Yeah, and I mean, we have a multi-seven-figure business, Ron, and everything that we're doing in that business, AppKeyland's our business. Everything that we're doing in AppKeyland and everything our employees are doing, a lot of it is not only to buy and sell land ourselves, but at least for me personally, a very big part of that is to create more opportunities for you guys to like we're cold calling right now. We're texting right now. We're testing out so many different things. We're just throwing a bunch of noodles at the wall and seeing which ones stick, Ron. And then we bring what's working for us back to you guys. We have the formula. We are failing at a lot of things we do. We're also succeeding in a lot of things we do. And we're trying to save you guys time. Our mission, Ron, is to create more freedom for people. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring back what's working into the program and for you guys. We're not really AppKeyland, yes, we love to buy and sell property. That's what we do. But I like even more taking what we learned there, Ron, and bringing it to the program. But I think the biggest thing, like you said, our success rate is near 100%. I can't think of one personally of people who have people who have actually sent mail multiple times. There's not I don't know anyone in there that has sent mail at least 3 times and haven't gotten several deals, Ron, and made a profit from it. I just can't think of any.
I mean, without a doubt. And like you said, like we are not teaching everything that we're doing in AppKey Land currently. We are teaching everything in AppKey Land that is working. And that's kind of the difference. We are spending a ton of money. I mean, I guess you would call it R&D, Daniel. Like our research and development is basically we are spending a ton of money on trying to find new strategies, maybe lower price points for you guys to enter the market where it's not direct mail and it can be more of a grind where you're making phone calls, you're cold calling, and that's what we're testing right now so much in our business. But I think we've dragged them along quite a bit, Daniel. Let's get up to the topic kind of the show, scaling up to that $100,000 a month. So you start with $3,000 to $5,000. You are consistent those first 3, 4, 5, 6 months. All right, now let's talk about maybe you made $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 those first 6 months combined. All right, how do we get to $100,000 a month? Where is their next steps? They've done this consistently for 6 months. They're on the verge of maybe being able to quit their job. What's the next steps, Dan?
So let's just talk numbers here. So $100,000 a month. That our average profits around low 20s, $22,000, $23,000 property. Some are much bigger than that, some are much lower, but 2022 that was our average profit. So, if that's our average profit, we need 4.5 deals a month run. But a lot of the new people are going to be, as you're scaling, you're going to get deal funding, you're going to lose some profit splits, you're going to pay for some yourself, you're going to reinvest. So let's just say, Ron, maybe 25% profit split because they're paying for some themselves and they're getting deal funding on others. Is that fair?
Yeah, I like that.
So let's do the math then. So we need 5 deals at that. So $22,000. Let's do times 0.25. Is that right? So
No,
22,000. Yeah, minus 5500. So that puts us at $16,500 average profit per deal if we're deal funding. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I like that.
So now we have $100,000 divided by 16,500. So we need 6 deals a month. So let's talk about, Ron, that's what I want to talk about. How do we get 6 deals a month? Because I think this is easier to rationalize it in people's head. If we just, instead of thinking, how do we get $100,000 a month? How do we get 6 deals a month? Because that's what we're going to need consistently to make that 100,000 a month.
Yeah, and there's different ways to do this, but if we're doing it basically how we're teaching, you're 6 months in, you're trying to make $100,000 a month, we months 9 through 12, whatever it is, and so on. So we get a deal about 1 out of every 2,500 mailers. And if you're scaling up, like you should have a pretty good basis how to price. You should be pretty effective with your mail. You should understand how to pick counties. Like all this, you have some data to back up your decision making. So you should be getting a deal, even if we say 1 out of every 3,000 mailers. And let's be very high with that because we're closer to 2,500 mailers, 2,200 mailers. But let's say 3,000 mailers. So that's 18,000 mailers a month. That's about $10,000 of money spent on mail, and you're going to make $100,000 on that. So for 18,000 mailers, Daniel, I think you'll make $100,000. It's not going to be immediate, but those months after that 18,000 mailers, you're going to start making $100,000 a month.
And if you're, to be clear, so that's on the 3,000, 1 every 3,000. Some of our members are doing 1 every 1,500. Some are doing 1 every 2,000. That's just our business. We're attacking bigger deals too. That's us with having that $22,000 average profit, Ron, per deal.
Yep.
Or $23,000 per deal. So if it was that 2,500, that's about 15,000. So it's going to be somewhere between, I think, $13,000 to $18,000 on that swing to get there. Let's say 16, 17, I think is the most realistic. I really do think if someone sends 15,000 mailers a month, vets the hell out of them, you'll be able to consistently make $100,000 a month personally.
I 100% agree. I think it matters how precise you are with everything, with your mail, how good you are on the phones, because all that stuff affects like how many deals you get. If you're bad on the phones and you're just calling these people and the first time you hear no, you don't follow up, you don't check with them, even if they did have some motivation to sell, like you're going to have to send more mail to get more deals. But if you're on average, like doing things how we teach and you're a decent on the phone and you're decent with your pricing, like I think 15,000 is a very realistic number. Now you need your systems and your operations, you need a CRM. Like you cannot just be taking these phone calls yourself. You're going to get 15,000 mailers, you're going to get 150 to 200 phone calls every single month. And if you don't have systems in place to manage these leads, I think it's going to become really, really difficult. And it is going to be almost impossible and extremely overwhelming, and you'll lose deals.
Exactly. And one thing I also wanted to bring up, Ron, you might hear, because these people might hear other people getting a deal per every 500 mailers. they're doing that for these little dinky $5,000 properties. We're talking about $23,000 profit run. So we're buying for 25, selling for 50, like on average, roughly. So when you guys hear these other people in the group or whatever or on YouTube getting a deal per every 300, 200, 500, 1,000, it's a lot of times because they're going after these dinky properties. We don't like these dinky properties. We're putting a lot of time into this. We're putting a lot of time into our pricing. Why not go after big deals? One of our biggest goals, Ron, mission for 2023 is attack bigger deals, more six-figure deals. Enough of these small ones. Yes, they're great. And I love when our members get them too. But it takes 10 small ones to get one big one. You know what I mean? It takes 10 small ones to get the same profit of one big one is how we're looking at it. And we're going after that. But some other things these people need to know, Ron, that's what I wanted to talk about. Like you just mentioned it, you need systems in place. Do not send 15,000 mailers without your systems, CRM, feeling very comfortable on the phone. Don't send it out without having all those systems because there are things that you get with time, like experience. And as you get more experience on the phone, as you get more experience in your CRM, you're going to feel more comfortable. You're going to get better at it. Your conversions are going to increase. You're going to have less people back out because you know how to do due diligence fast. Like as you get more experience and feel more comfortable, just think of your sales. Like the more talk time on the phone, the more experience you have, you're going to get a better conversion. You're going to learn what they're looking to hear, what they're not looking to hear, some obstacles, how to get over those obstacles, Ron.
Yeah. And if you're trying to do this by yourself without a team, you need to do things extremely efficiently. I think this is pushing the realm of one person, in my opinion, Daniel. Once you start sending 15,000 mailers, like how much due diligence that is, how much negotiating, how much if you're doing all sides of the business, you're going to have to be extremely efficient with your time. Ideally, you can hire someone and help take some weight off your shoulders and you pay them whatever. You pay them $50,000 for a transaction quarter, whatever the situation is. And that's half of 1 month's profit if you're doing it like this. So that's definitely a good investment. Take a lot of time off your plate. But if you're trying to do this yourself and scale like this, you need to be extremely efficient with your time. You need to continue to educate yourself, learn from other people doing things similarly. Obviously have a CRM and stuff like that, but that's a huge part of it.
Yeah, that's definitely pushing the limits. Like if you guys are making 100,000 a month, please do yourself a favor and hire some sort of support, whether it's a virtual assistant or salesperson or whatever it is, Ron. I don't have too much to add though, Ron.
No, I think that was really good. Yeah, scale up. I mean, be consistent when you're first starting. Don't worry about making 100,000 your first couple months. It's definitely possible months, whatever, 6 through 12 to make 100,000 each month, but you got to scale up to that point. And if you've already been in this business 6, 12 months, you're doing well. All right, let's bump that mail up. Let's make our systems ready and grow from there.
Exactly. Scale it up. That's the key. Maybe month one, start 2 to 4,000 mailers. Do that for 3, 4 consistent months. You're going to start making good money and you're going to see this works. Proof of concept is going to be there. That's what happens, Ron. These people get so excited because they see it's working. They sent 2 to 4,000 mailers a month for 3, 4, 5 months. Okay, let's scale it up to 6 to 8. Okay, let's scale it up to 10. Okay, let's scale it up to 15. But as you do that, your systems and process really, really get solidified. And that's the key here. That way you're taking advantage of every lead, every call coming in, and you have the whole process and you know what you're talking about, most importantly.
Exactly. I don't have anything to add, Dan.
Awesome. Well, as always, thank you guys for joining. If you guys have already not, please leave us a review on Apple Podcast. It really helps this business grow. Ron and I look at those all the time. We really, really appreciate you guys doing that. Thank you for joining, and we'll see you next episode.
Thanks, everyone.